Good morning. Welcome to the channel. This is Lunar Goddess Tarot. I'm Sarah and I'll be your intuitive guide and your reader today. For today's reading, we are going to take a look and a peek into the divine masculine who has awakened, who is aware, is awakened, and is well on their spiritual journey. So the complement to the divine feminine who is at a certain point in her healing journey so as to have awakened her other half. I'm also going to do an extended reading over on Patreon. I will place the link below so you can either view that if you're already a patron, or you can sign up to view all of the extended readings, and as well as the entire library depending on which tier you sign up in. There's different levels, different tiers, and there's different content for different tiers. Okay. I also have a bonus reading over there for my VIP patrons from yesterday, and it was specifically for the divine feminine who is feeling confused, lost, scattered, and almost really despondent, like for the feminine who just feels like she's lost control of her life and wants to know why this is happening. Because if you watch the DF reading and the DM reading from yesterday, it's very clear that the DM is very much in control right now of his journey. And I don't mean control in a bad way, in a positive way. And the feminine is the one who feels like she's a little derailed at this time. So if you feel like you need the additional help, you can access that reading. I'll be doing more bonus readings for the VIPs over on Patreon as well. All right, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and start with a card from the How to Love Yourself deck by Louise Hay, as we did yesterday. I really liked these cards and I'm feeling them. And I'd like to get a card for the divine masculines. Now remember, I'm reading today for the divine masculine who has awakened to the nature of this journey. This is really interesting. I open myself to all good. I receive life's gifts with joy and pleasure and gratitude. Talk about a masculine who's come a long, long way. I rejoice in my creative energies. This is the feminine. This is the divine feminine that is rising up in these divine masculines. Fun, uplifting ideas flow through my consciousness, and I follow through on the ideas received, bringing them into full manifestation. This is huge because this tells us that this is a divine masculine who is understanding that he has both a feminine and masculine side, but he's merging and blending the two, and he wants to work on the feminine energy. He wants to be open to good. For a long time, these divine masculines felt unworthy of receiving anything good. They didn't feel like they were deserved of the good of the feminine or of anything good that was coming to them. You know, they now understand that they're good enough, and they understand that there's no need to struggle to be anything else or to be better. They just have to love themselves. And so they've loved themselves enough and treat themselves as someone who they deeply love, as they're able to do with the divine feminine. Because regardless of what's happened in your connection, the divine masculine does deeply love the divine feminine. They don't always display that very well in the 3D world. But when they do things that trigger us or hurt us, such as choosing not to be with us for whatever reason, it's because they're trying to prevent themselves from hurting us, and they're trying to protect us from them. Even though the feminine says, I don't need to be protected from you, I can handle my own, the masculine's nature is to protect. So again, we can switch perspectives and see this journey in a much different light. We also have, I am one with everyone on the planet. So again, the crown chakra in full activation. Every time I meditate, I told you guys they were meditating and visualizing, or do a visualization for healing, I'm connecting with like-minded people all over the world. So they're definitely making friends with different types of people. I feel like the divine masculine is connecting with a new tribe, a new group, a social group. And they're meeting kind of wild and zany, kind of like very Aquarian people. They're meeting people that they never thought they would want to connect to. And they're very excited because these people are opening up their eyes, they're opening up their whole experience to something different. So they're meeting these people like in airports, they're meeting these people at festivals or concerts or in the grocery store or just in their city, like having coffee. And these people might have, you know, multicolored hair and piercings and tattoos, and it might not be the normal type that this masculine would want to befriend, but what they're finding is these people have a lot to offer them. So they're allowing themselves to see other people who they would have perceived as different, or they may have even judged them negatively, that they're just like me. Like, I actually, you know, they might be saying to themselves, I actually have always wanted a tattoo and never had the courage to get it. And this person, you know, has all these tattoos and piercings. They're so courageous. Instead of judging them and saying, oh, that's so unprofessional or whatever, they would judge them in a more positive light, just as an example. Okay, so the divine masculine is awakening to really, to be, and that's the feminine energy, right? To accept everyone and to not judge, and to really just be that mothering, kind, empathetic energy that's also creative, nurturing, creative, compassionate. They're a little bit quiet this morning, maybe because it's so early. They haven't had their cups of coffee yet. Come on, masculines, it's not even Friday. What does a healed divine masculine wish to say? Interesting. We just talked about protection, and we have protection cave. They are telling the divine feminine, I was protecting you. I was protecting you. That's why I went into my cave. That's why I retracted my steps. That's why I did not come forward or did not choose you, or that's how you felt. I actually did choose you. I chose you by not allowing you to see me at my lowest. So then they end up with a karmic, and the karmic sees them at their lowest, and they play out these karmic cycles with another person so that you don't have to do that with them, because you didn't sign up for that divine feminine. You signed up for a different masculine. You signed up for the healed masculine. I'm trying to help those who are brokenhearted or despondent see things in a different light here. Yeah, they just wanted to protect the feminine energy. You know, this is like that cosmic egg. This is the protector. He wants to also, this is coming out as, I want to be the protector of the planet, protector of all beings, protector of everyone and everything. And I wasn't able, you know, to do that when you were present physically in my life at that time. So I had to walk away. I had to let you walk away. For a lot of the connections, it was the feminine who walked away, but the divine feminine is, or the divine masculine is now saying, but I you know, pushed you away on purpose. They knew on some level that they had obligations, like karmic obligations with other people that they had to get entrenched in to learn these lessons so they could come back to you more healed and more whole and more understanding of this journey, more empathetic, more compassionate, more less judgmental, less harsh, less rigid. They're currently alchemizing. Look at this. Yeah, protectors of the earth. Look, protection, magic, and earth. They're very much at home within themselves. So these are divine masculines who are finding that home within themselves and really accepting that the feminine is their home. But this is also like, this earth energy is also an empress energy to me. So is this very much a feminine energy coming through all through this reading for the masculines. Magic, alchemy. Yeah, if you look at the magician in the tarot deck, he's got access to all of the sweets, the cups, right? He's got access to the swords if he needs to do battle, the cups, the emotions, the heart. He's got access to the mind, okay, the swords, and he's got access to the pentacles, which is the earth energy, the earthly realm. And he's got access to the wands, which is the spiritual realm, which is, you know, accessing that higher, those higher levels, the higher realms, higher consciousness. So he is able to alchemize his environment. He's alchemizing himself right now, guys. He's alchemizing, he's clearing and cleansing and purifying and alchemizing himself. And what that's doing is allowing him to really understand the feminine's journey, because the feminine is the one who, sorry guys, I have to put my fan on. I am like sweating. Whew. There's a lot of energy in this reading, okay? There's a ton of energy. There's been a ton of purging. I also had a healing on me, my healer yesterday, so this is part of it. But there's a ton of purging with these masculines, okay? They have purged out a lot. It's almost like some of them are getting sober. Some of them are detoxifying themselves from drugs or alcohol. And they're going through that process now. Okay, so also what I want to touch on here is that they're now using their powers. This came up in yesterday's reading. They're now using their powers for good, right? They're alchemizers. They really are. The true divine masculine can alchemize a situation, diffuse a situation. That's the leadership. That's the emperor energy. I can lead. I can empower others. And before they were using it for their own egoic gains, and now they're using their powers to help others and empower others because they're no longer afraid of someone overpowering them. They're realizing that was just an illusion anyway. All right, so these divine masculines who are awakened, Spirit, tell me more. These divine masculines who are awakened, tell me more. Mindful groupthink. They're coming together more. Yes, I mean, we saw this. Look, I am one with everyone on the planet. They are wanting to work together with other masculines and other feminines, not in a romantic way, but you know, you're theirs, they're yours. That's not it. But this is like partnership in terms of let's make this world a better place. You know, let's work together, guys. Like, we're more powerful together than we are separate. They're really coming out of the cave. They're really coming out of that hibernation period that they've been in for quite some time. They've really like become the Hierophant, you know, by becoming the hermit. They had such spiritual gains that they became the Hierophant and were able to really truly like, look, this is the consciousness blossoming. Like, it's much more powerful and colorful and creative together than it is separately. Overflow, overwhelm, and plenty. Realizing there's enough to go around for everybody, okay? Realizing I don't have to take on all of this by myself. I can delegate and I can ask others to help. I can go to others for help. Yes, I'm a leader, I'm a teacher, but I can also be a student here. So this is a humbling experience, as I've said, for both the masculine and the feminine, but the masculine's been quite humbled through this. So it's like, there's so many good things headed towards the masculine that they may be thinking like this is too much abundance, like overwhelmed, because there's so much. They might be giving some of their possessions away right now. They might just be wanting to give away and donate and help others who are less fortunate. There's so much beauty. There's so much love. There's divine synchronicities. They're having these encounters with people. They're having these aha moments. They're seeing, you know, your name. They're seeing signs of you, which is what the feminine experienced for a long time. And now for the feminine, I feel like that's probably dulled down and slowed down quite a bit. And now I think the feminine, when she sees the signs, she just uses them. She says, okay, like if she sees her masculine's initials or name or something or a number or a song, she looks at that. And instead of saying, oh, this is the masculine coming back, she says, what is this? Like, what can I gain from this? Or what can I learn from this? Or what is this trying to tell me about my path? So she's really started to internalize those synchronicities. But now the masculine is sort of externalizing them because it does make him think of the feminine. That narcissism, wherever he lost touch with his spirituality and his higher consciousness, that is now being healed. Spiritual narcolepsy has come in quite a bit for both the masculine and the feminine. This is like falling asleep at the spiritual wheel and not being awake, not being awakened to, let's say, like to not only your gifts, but just not to go unconscious, not to let your ego lead the way, not to fall asleep in your day, so that you're actually living a life of not just integrity, but you're living a life of intention, okay? So also this is a warning, like the masculines may have been, you know, you could have been seduced by them, because it's easy to get seduced by what we would call a fallen angel, right? Somebody who might use you for pleasure and love. And the masculines didn't do this intentionally with, you know, they didn't do this to hurt the feminine or to take advantage of you, but it felt that way for the feminine. It felt like you took advantage of what I was offering you, of my love and my comfort and my beauty and, you know, my sexuality. You took advantage of that. So there's a lot of healing that's had to happen with these counterparts, guys, because this has not been a straightforward journey, right? We know this. This has been a journey that's like, wait a second, I need to slow down and I need to try to understand what's happening here. Because honestly, the masculine was wearing a mask. The masculine was still like, they were covered in tar. You can look at it that way. Like energetically, when you met them, they were covered in fear and doubt and narcissism and power, and it was all a power play. It was all, I mean, you could look back on your connection. It was all about, they would call you when they were available, or, you know, they would call the shots, and the feminine just got really tired of that and, you know, walked away and said that I'm worth so much more than that. And then they would make excuses like, well, you deserve better. And the feminine would say, well, you can be better. I know that you have this, like, it's a better variation of you. And the masculine's like, no, I'm not good for you. So they really took the easy way out in that respect. But again, they were listening to their higher self, and they had to do that. They had to do that because they had to go here and alchemize the situation. Now we have 43 twice. So if anyone's a numerology fan, you guys can discuss that in the comments or in the live below, because I don't really know what that means, but it's interesting to see it twice here. And all right, so let me take a look here. All right, let's get they have reached full completion, guys. A full completion of a cycle. The world is coming up yet again. And the Two of Wands, wow. Two of Wands in this deck signals a man or woman who's come into their own. Two of Wands, a lot of passion, a lot of fire, a lot of energy here. New partnerships or contracts. We are seeing that for the masculines. This is like a fresh start, a clean break and a fresh start for them, especially in career. So expect them. I know they've been changing, you know, jobs and career positions a lot recently in the past few years. Expect that to continue to happen here because they're moving forward. And if it's an unaligned partnership with a company or a client, it's going to have to go. And that's what they're learning to accept here, because they're alchemizing their situation. As they alchemize themselves and purify themselves, things that no longer fit have to go. So we're going to see a lot of changes here with the masculines coming up, especially when you guys do physically meet with them, and I believe that you will in 2023, 2024. I do think that they're going to be, I mean, I can almost say with positivity, they're going to be a different person. They're going to be presenting themselves different, looking different, different haircut, different clothes, different energy, much less rigid, especially those that were high-powered executives and, you know, were very much in the corporate world and, you know, doing the corporate thing and felt really important and like their ego was all inflated. I do think that they have been humbled so much and are continuing to be humbled and continuing to go through these changes so that they can align with who they really are, that they're going to come to you and just feel really relaxed and really at ease and really at peace with themselves and the work that they're doing in the world, because they're going to be more aligned, which means that you're going to be working on continuing to align yourself, divine feminine. That's why things feel so uncomfortable right now, okay? Because you're aligning yourself so that you can help your counterpart align with themselves. And I know it's not easy work, this spiritual work. So I'm going to go more into that in the extended over on Patreon. We're going to talk about this uncomfortability and discomfort for the masculine, and how it stems from the feminine's discomfort, and how it's really, you guys are growing and expanding, but it feels like, yeah, if you're in a container and you're expanding beyond that container, beyond that box, it's uncomfortable. So you have to find a new box, but you haven't found that new box or that new container yet. And that's what's happening for both of you. Okay, I'm going to talk about that over on the extended. We're also going to talk about more about the divine masculine's really emotional expansion and messages he might have for his feminine, because I do think there's a lot of messages that I want to pour forth now that he's out of hibernation. Okay, guys, the link will be below here in the description box if you'd like to watch the extended. Remember, you'll have access to the other videos in that tier as well. You can go back as long as you'd like. And I will continue delivering these extended readings to you because people really seem to enjoy them. I think they're very helpful and I enjoy doing them. And if you guys would like a private reading with me, my website will be listed below. You can check that out. If you have any questions, feel free to email me and let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take really good care, guys. See you soon.